Hi, good afternoon, guys. I love your show. I just want to ask a rhetorical question.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to decency and humanity? We have good versus evil, light versus darkness, right versus wrong. What happened to common decency? I'm going to pose a question to you. If you see someone doing wrong, for example, something that you question, would you speak up and say something about it, or would you be like, you go with the bad action?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that? So I want us to think about that because, well, let me just bring it personally. I am one party. My husband is of a different political party. We cannot have a civilized, well, no, I wouldn't even say civilized. We can't have a decent conversation about politics in our home because and it's huge, a huge difference, a vast difference where we don't talk. Mm. Now we agree to disagree. And what happened to that? And it's sad because when we go around other family members, there's a divide there as well. So again, I want to pose the question, what happened to decency? What happened to right versus wrong? What happened to common sense?
Yeah.
If we know that this, even in elementary school, we're taught, if Johnny pulls a ponytail, no, Johnny, that's not right. We learn that in elementary school. Yeah. And then as we grow up as adults, what happens to that decency, that common sense? And then as adults, what happens to that integrity, that thing that we have inside our heart that we know that's wrong? Now, I'm not pointing out the right versus left, but to me, it just seems like one party over the other has common sense and the other one doesn't. Just because and I don't believe in socialism per se, but I do believe in humanism. Yeah. If there's someone starving, feed them. What does it cost you to come out of your pocket? And I've done this many a times. Let me go buy you. I'm not going to give you cash, but I will buy you a sandwich.
Yeah.
What did
Tracy,
that do
may
for
I
me?
answer?
Absolutely.
Okay. This started in a big way with Ayn Rand in the 1950s and 60s, promoting the value of selfishness, saying that if everybody in society only maximized their own pleasure and acted entirely in their own interest, that society would work better. She sold this with books like Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead and was considered a crackpot. In 1951, Russell Kirk wrote a book called The Conservative Mind, in which he made a very similar argument. Again, he was considered a crackpot, except by William F. Buckley and Barry Goldwater. But in 81, when Reagan became president, this idea that compassion and, I am my brother's keeper and all these other things became objects of ridicule. And, they adopted this idea that if everybody acts with maximum selfishness, society will work best, which is arguably a twisted variation of capitalism, right? Yeah. And then you get Rush Limbaugh saying, what do you do when a man's down? You kick him, otherwise he won't get up. Right. And what that has led to is this idea that compassion and caring for others and being a good citizen, those are all things that hippie liberals are into, and they don't make society work. And Elon Musk saying that compassion and empathy are the great poisons of society, and that's where we're at. And Tracy, I'm so sorry to hear about the situation in your home. I hope you can work it out. It's got to be really, really tough. I just can't imagine. Tracy, thank you for the call. 21 minutes past the hour. We'll be back.